reason. So 500 weighs somewhere around 4,150.
Okay,
So
a couple of tons plus what? What was the?
1,000 pounds.
It was 1,000 pounds. Okay, so just south of 3 tons. Okay, so a couple of so a group of computer science people should be able to lift 3 tons.
I'll grab the whip.
I mean, if we want to get to the round number, I can get in the hot tub. It'll be right around that 3-ton mark.
See, we'll just need to put a rope around the hot tub and then strap it to you so it's an even weight distribution. Have you pulled?
Well, I did pull that hot tub away from the wall accidentally with the boat. The trailer got snagged on the side of the. I pulled about 3 feet away from that. Then to push it back in, I have my old Awesome Fat logo thing that goes into the trailer hitch of my car. So I put that in there so it would have a flat surface. Then I put a board in between. I posted this on Facebook. This was over the summer. And I literally just backed it into the corner and just shoved it with the car until it went into the corner. I wasn't going to drain that.
Won't you have to remount your TV then?
Well, yeah, but I have you for that.
I was just wondering.
Your shoulder would be. Yeah, it's true. I could turn it, but I'll decide whether or not you have to work more.
It's not going to be good for like 6 months.
Well, that's not my problem.
You want me to do it?
Well, you're too short to really do the work for that.
This is true.
I just need you to direct, and then we'll have Abe there to do lifting and stuff, and at some point Evan's gonna owe me something, so he's gonna be there to do stuff. You can do handyman stuff, right?
Sure, yeah.
Like you
can use build roofs.
You do? You do roofing? Oh, he could easily move that TV then. We got this covered.
You didn't know that.
I probably knew that. I don't pay attention. It doesn't really matter to me.
You want a roof? We'll do it for you.
Well, with the roofing stuff, I should have him just extend my garage so I can fit a bigger boat in there.
That'd be hard to do. You'd have to re-level your garage.
All right.
Just extend your garage from where it's at now to like the street.
to across the street. All right. So
you can still drive on it.
So last time we were talking about this. Let's see what we were looking at. Yep. So inside of our iPhone application, we went ahead and we had this guy participate in the WCSession, and that makes him a member of the WCSession delegate, which then means that we have this function called session blah blah blah. All right, and inside here we were going to print something out. So the idea is that this function should get called when he does receive a message. Somebody just posting random crap on on Slack.
I was typing a joke.
All right.
It happened to be in the channel.
So in any case, this guy should get called every single time that the message. One more, and everybody's taking out a piece of paper. All right. So whenever this guy receives a message, he should get something. Now, right now, I'm not kidding, and it won't be an answerable quiz. All right. So this is inside of our view controller for our iPhone app. So if we go back over to the Watch app, was it main screen that we did this? We have the same exact code. This guy now participates in the WCSession as well. And let's see, that's the... So what we were trying to do here is we were creating some application data, basically a little dictionary chunk, if you will. This is called a tuple. And we were trying to send the message over that session using that. Okay? So punchline here is that we need to move this. I think we saw at the end of class last time that this message didn't actually get sent, or if it got sent, it wasn't received because this is happening inside of Awake with Context on the watch, and View did load on the iPhone app, and there was probably a timing thing or something like that. So instead of doing that, we're going to go ahead and move this code into a button. Okay, that when we click that button, we go ahead and try to send the message. Okay, So what we'll do here is let's make this session a global variable. So we're going to move this up top, and let's see, what is WCSession dot default session return? It returns a WC session. Okay. So I'm going to come up here, and globally in our watch app, we're going to let session, actually it's probably going to need to be a var because we're going to change its value, be a WC session. All right, and we can go ahead and put a nil value in there, I think. Is it going to let me do that? Nope, doesn't like that. So we'll just do that, and we'll be happy for the moment. All right, so we're going to be filling that guy up with something. Now we'll come down here in awake with context. We're not going to say let session equal that. We're going to say self.session is equal to the default session. Then we'll set the delegate. So we do all the setup stuff that we were doing before. But now what we're going to do is we're going to take this code that we were doing here, and we're going to put it inside of an IB action. All right. So let's go ahead and give ourselves a button on our watch. So let's go out to our, I just copied the code, so we'll have it available to us here in a second. So I need to get to our storyboard. All right, so this is our main screen. So we already have an add role button in there. And in fact, actually, let's just repurpose the add role button. Do we, let's check it real quick. Do we actually have an IB action for that add role? Awake with context, update. Nope, we don't. But we should be able to do this inside of the segue. So override, what is it called? Segue. Context for segue with identifier. No, I don't think that's it. Conform. Those are all our session things. How do we respond to a segue on WatchKit? Didn't we do that on one of the other screens?
I want to say we did.
All right, one moment. WatchKit, segue, pass data.
I want to say it was the segue with
I didn't think it was the context one. Oh no, it is.
Okay. I thought that sounded
Context for
familiar.
segue with identifier. Weird. Okay.
Why does this sound familiar?
All right, so we'll override that guy. Function context for segue with identifier. And well, here, let's just paste the stuff in there. So that's the code we want to let happen in there. but I'm gonna in segue just print something out here real quick. So we'll go ahead and let our application data equal that. Then we're going to grab our session, which is our global variable. We're going to try to send the message. What message? The message contained in application data with a reply handler that currently does nothing. Oh, I need to have one more closing curly brace, I think, for... Oh, it wants a return statement in here. It's going to let me return nil. Yep, okay. Okay, so, and my guess is that we probably have the ability to return a value to the next guy through this context here as well. We can mess with that here in a second. But let's see if this guy A gets called, then B, does the message actually get sent now? So let me switch this over to our WatchKit app. I think the way we want to launch this is we want to launch the Watch app so we can run it. But before we click that button, we want to then bring the iPhone app up to date. So we're kind of simulating the idea of the watch is running, but the iPhone guy is sitting here as well. So kind of in real life, you have to have both of these devices to make this work. And then hopefully we get a message on the iPhone saying that it received something. Having said that, though, let's go back to our view controller here. When this guy receives the message right now, we're just printing, and because I don't think we can print. We want to actually have this update a label, I think, because since we're not going to have it running here on the iPhone. Since Xcode won't be actually running this, I won't see any of the print messages. We won't see the console stuff. So I think we actually need to update a label on the iPhone screen. So let's just do that real quick. So here's our iPhone screen. There's our label. So we're just going to set this label equal to whatever we're interested in here. So I'll go ahead and just give myself a outlet to talk to that label. Just call this guy the label. All right. Now we have that. We'll go back into our view controller.
The label somewhere that didn't like it.
So it totally didn't like it. Why would it allow us to put it there if it didn't like it?
Normally it yells at you.
Yeah, you would think. All right. So now we have a label in there. And then what we'll do here is instead of here, we're going to say self.thelabel.text is equal to, let's just say message received for right now. Just proving this function got called. All right. So we're just trying to prove the flow through of this. So we'll go ahead and launch the Apple Watch app through Xcode. Then we'll manually go in and launch the iPhone app through the simulator, because the iPhone app is going to get installed on the simulator when this guy runs. Then we'll open up that. Well, so we'll launch that app. Then we hit the button on the Apple Watch, which should go to the segue, which should then send the message to the phone. All right, sounds like a plan. So let's try that. So here's the Watch app going. Let that guy finish launching. Now let's go ahead and launch the Watch app. Okay, so there's that. So now the hope is, and we'll have to make sure we got into that segue code first, that when I click add role, it calls that segue code, should print out, what would I say, in segue or something like that, then sends the message, and we should see it in that label. Let's see, we didn't get in, oh, we did. We did get into the segue. That's down here. All right, so we got there. We got our value. We sent the message. Let's see if something bad happened in here. This is catching any errors. Print. Problem sending. error, which should be this guy right here. All right, well, let's see if an error pops up then. All right, well, it thinks, oh, hold on. Did I connect it? I need to check something here real quick.
Is the label connected or?
Because I didn't move it. I wonder if it disconnected when I moved it. No, it's still there. All right, so let's go into main screen IC. Hide that. This was a problem happened. And then let's say in here, this is the reply, received, reply on watch. Just say that. Let's see if any of that stuff happens. Yeah, this in segue. That's printing. So proving we're getting into that function. So now we're inside of dice roller. Now we roll that. In segue still is it this segue? It should be.
A whole bunch of stuff printed out before just when you started everything.
Yeah, no, that's just when when it closes the app, it prints out a bunch of stuff just to tell you ended it.
You print it out down here?
Yeah, no, when you.
Oh, those things?
Yeah. Exit on code 0 or.
All right, so the message is seemingly getting sent. It's just not calling that particular callback. Now, if I remember correctly, we were messing with a couple of different callbacks here, though, right? We had did receive.
Is it possible that it's not updating the iPhone app side?
Well, here we can
Just-
probably
just
we can test that real quick just
Yeah,
by
just
going in here to
switch
view did load, and we can say self.thelabel.text is equal to blah. So we'll know real quick whether that code's getting. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's updated. It's getting installed there. All right. So that message is not coming through
Where should it be changing the label text?
right in nowhere.
So
Oh no, right here. This is the message received.
Now you change,
But let's go ahead and let's
you
move it
change-
over to this guy.
You change that button, did you? Because I've seen that error where you have to disconnect and reconnect the button before it'll fully update with what it's doing.
Well, the button's obviously getting called
Oh,
in segue.
Yeah.
So we hadn't updated this, so we were wondering whether it called this function instead of this function. We didn't know which of these two would get called. So let's say message received with reply handler. This is without reply handler. Killing me. Oh, there it is.
Took it a while.
Took a moment. It took a moment, but it finally arrived. Man, that took a long moment,
Yeah,
actually.
Simulator's a little sluggish.
Well, no, I've noticed that on the actual watch as well. Sometimes there's not a real great. All right, so
Wish I could.
now we'll go add roll. Sit. Boom.
Wish I could take that long to change my label.
do you have to click the actual phone?
There it is. That was like a solid
Let's.
5-6 seconds.
So you think it was doing it before, or was it not doing it?
I don't think so. Let's spread out the label. We'll know for sure. Because right now the label is too tiny. So let's see what full message we get on here. And I'm thinking this is going to be the one that does not say with reply. Oh, it was. It was doing it before.
It's a significant delay though.
Yeah.
Really?
So let's check something here.
So I guess you're never using that unless you like absolutely have to.
Actually,
Really, like the only thing you could use that for then is like saving, like NS user default kind of like just saving stuff.
well, based on what we're doing right here, so let me do this. I'm just going to cut that one. I want to see if this one's also getting called. Like maybe this one got called and then it got replaced immediately by the other guy. Yeah, it did. Both of them got called.
You like it to get a second shorter.
I think they were the same speed. One of them just got over it.
Yeah, I mean, some microsecond. We
Right.
clearly saw that the other one was
What's the
happening
difference
second.
between clicking and the actual getting of the messages.
Identical. Yeah. Some fraction of a microsecond for.
Kicking in more.
Hmm?
I said it could just be my Vicodin kicking in more.
Maybe.
My perception on reality is changing.
All right. So in any case, we have that message showing up. Now let's mess around with replies. So let's see. This guy receives the message without the ability to reply. This guy receives the message but has the ability to reply. Here's the reply handler. Let's see this. So this guy says, here's the session, did receive message. Here's the message that we received. Let's see if we can actually grab that, that message. Let's see, how do I do this? Is it message at bucket 0? Or do I have to extract the value from it? We were sending in what? The name of it was what? Counter value. All right. So I think we have to say counter value here. What? Let's just do this real quick. Let's just prove that it gets over here. We know that this guy is the one that gets called second, so we should see the message that he actually received here. And then I need to look up the syntax for calling a tuple. It might just be dot something. Like a dot, I think it's like a dot underscore or something to get the value. Or placeholders in Swift. Oh, I gotta click that. All right, so there's our counter value. So, very least, we've proven we can send data eventually from the Apple Watch to the other guy.
We've all had a lesson in patience.
And just for my own sanity here,
I
let me
would
just.
wonder if you send it again, if you send a different value, when they're already like sending values, will it send it instantaneously?
Once
Is it
it's
like
already made
trying
the
to set up like
connection.
a pipe or something, and and that's what's taking so long. But once the pipe's open,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Here,
or
we'll,
if it's like
That's
trying to
actually-
launch the
yeah.
ad,
Right.
like every time.
so
almost.
like that's is it like if you send another one, is it gonna like update itself and immediately go, or are you gonna wait that 5 seconds every time?
Well,
Yeah.
given the fact that when we were updating it,
Yeah, it is.
with it overriding, yeah, it should.
.0.1. Okay.
Yeah, it should do it faster because we just saw it.
So it's just the initial.
Yeah, the initial one.
Probably.
So I think it's message dot 0. There's no member 0. Oh, wait. Is it message? What was the counter value? My worlds are colliding.
You can't think of it's like taking the first value of a string.
Yeah, tuples are weird in Swift.
But you weren't trying to use a tuple. You were trying to use the message, which is the string.
No,
right?
no. Message is stored as
a
a,
tuple.
it's a tuple.
Are you
Yep. Well, I mean, look at the syntax. This is
Well, I
what
mean-
this is the message.
Yeah, but it says a string, so you have to convert it to a tuple, and then.
No, but it's not a string. It's
But-
it's an array. This is a dictionary.
But the way you were defining message was as a string.
No. This is the entire variable message you're looking at right here. This has a string called counter value, a colon, a 5 inside of square brackets. That's the entire value of that variable. So it looks like a dictionary.
Right.
So actually, let's do that. Let's get its type real quick. Yeah, I mean it's not a string. It contains a string, but it's not in and of itself a string. So can we do message dot? Enumerate would actually, that would give us a list of strings. Index for key, is there a value for key?
Oh, I see what you're doing.
I can do remove value for key, giving it a key. I can also do pop first. Well, let's do this. Let's remove the value for key. And the key was, what did I call it? Counter value. Alright, so I'll remove that. It should boil down to that, and this should be in any object, but hopefully it just shows up as a 5. Mutating member. Cannot use mutating member of immutable value messages let. Well, message is not set as a let here, it's set as a let over here. No, it comes in as a, yeah, it doesn't matter. It comes in as immutable. Okay.
Bring it in, set something up.
All right, so how do I get a value? WC session.
It's a dictionary. Can you just
Well, yeah, that's why I was assuming it was a dictionary, and that's why I was trying to get the value for a key.
if it's anything like C#, is it brackets with in quotes the string key?
Yeah, so I tried that already.
Oh, you did.
What do I call it? Counter value? Yeah, it yells at me. Oh, I thought it yelled at me. Oh, did I? Maybe I didn't put it in double quotes. Maybe that was the issue.
So all your carbs are gonna be the same on the new motor. The starter's the same. Flywheel's different. Your electronic control panel's the same.
All right. So hopefully we just see a 5 pop up here. It might be like an optional thing. Yeah. Okay. So we're fine there. So that's how we can extract the value. Does anybody? I kind of want to roll back on the.
Just hit Control Z a bunch of times.
Well, I guess I can, but. Yeah.
Oh, because it was an optional.
Well, maybe did I not read the error message? No, cannot substring. No, it yelled at me that I couldn't substring it with that.
So what are you doing in the new one that's any different from that?
Because you have it in the quotes with the thing around it,
Yeah,
which like force casts it to the
Well, the new one I have this.
Wow,
Yeah, it's just
that's
thrown
and it's
right
saying
into a
it's saying
string.
create a string like an empty string with what that should be added into it. So it will for sure still be a string, even if it's like an optional 5 or whatever, you know.
Force downcast to string is optional, will never reduce.
So it means if it's
Oh, I wonder if it's this.
well, the other way worked. It's just
Well, no, it was giving me a warning, but the other one didn't even give me a warning.
it tells you a warning when you
Cannot subscript a value of type.
what?
see because there it doesn't know that it's
Yeah.
holding it's the any object.
Yeah, this guy comes out to be in any object.
Oh, so that's,
Oh.
that's
So
why.
it's okay with that. Then I can say as string.
Can you just do the string?
But it's the same thing there, where if there's a null value for counter value, it will still do it as a string. So it's saying there's no way for it to get null there.
So
But
what this
the other
actually
way-
says then is that when I embed it inside of the placeholder thing, it must natively do a unwrap.
Yeah.
Because given this, I should be able to say something like, if message counter value not equal to nil, then do this.
Well, it's still in any object. You have to cast it as a string.
No, because it's not complaining about that right now. Is it that?
I think it's just bad error message.
I think we tried it earlier where we tried to wrap like in the beginning of the course where we tried to wrap it like this, and then it would see if it wouldn't do the optional thing, and it still did.
Copy use as a boolean. Okay, that's fine. So that's why I said not equal to nil. Not subscript a value of type this with an index of type. So want this to be.
I'm pretty sure it's just complaining that
I mean,
it's just in any object when you're trying to set it to a. You're trying to set a string to any object. So if you cast it to a string, then it should.
wait, hold on. That's interesting. Nothing is different about what's typed there right this second than there was 15 seconds ago. But because of the order, the error message is different.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's.
Yeah. Here's the old error. Here's the other error message.
That's funny.
That's weird. That is what that is. All right. Well, let's test. I wish I had a better answer than that. First of all, I want to know what kind of animal this is. It doesn't look like it's a tuple, but what is that?
It's gotta be.
It's not a dictionary. It's like a piece of a dictionary.
It has to be tuple. That's the only thing that even.
Looks like tuples are parenthesis based. Yeah, here's the tuple. Yeah, so let's. Oh, hold on.
Okay, so it says a dictionary of property lists and values that you want to send. That's what send message sends as a message. It's a dictionary.
Well, so I mean, I can send more than one thing.
I don't see why not.
So reply handler specifically is looking for. Actually, hold on. Where's the? Go back down to this one. Session dot send message.
Just do a comma after.
Oh yeah, is this the placeholder? Maybe that's the mess. Maybe that's the problem. This is just a plain Jane dictionary. Actually, no, it can't be. If it was a
What happens if you add another item in the?
yeah, I should be able to. Yeah, it must be that they're. Oh, thank you. It must be that their syntax for what's expected for this first parameter just looks funky. Because when I look at this and I see session.sendMessage and I see a message in this format, that doesn't say NS dictionary to me. That says, give me this weird freaky animal that is is like a tuple, or tuple just be a single name value pair. But let's see if it does send both things over the other side. So there's that. We already saw that this is a waste.
So in the reply handler, if you set the second any object to a string, will it complain? Could you would that?
Oh, this guy?
Or the message any object.
Well, the message.
The
The reason it comes as an any object, that's what we want. Because that allows us to be flexible. That means we can send strings and dog objects and cat objects, whatever we want. We can send all sorts of things to this guy. So that's good.
I was just curious if it stops complaining if you.
All right. So the fix here was wrap it like this for no good reason. Is that the unterminated string literal? Oh, this guy right here. All right, so it's completely ridiculous. All right, so this should give us our counter value. Then we'll try it with blah here in a second. Let's just make sure it's working the way we thought it was working before. Wait for it, wait for it. And then we'll test about sending that second message here in a second. So it should say optional 5, okay? And now let's try blah, making sure this guy actually is a dictionary. So we sent a second value and blah was a 7, right? Yep, 7. Okay, so it is a dictionary.
That's a weird dictionary.
Well, it's probably not. It's probably something with Swift 2.0 versus Swift 1.0 or something. Maybe it's represented as a kind of a struct type instead of an object type. That would actually support it coming in as immutable. But
if you're sending data, you want to send it as a struct. You don't want to send a reference to it.
well, you can't send a reference to it in this case because
That's
you
my
have
point,
two
but
separate
that's
objects.
That's why sending it as a struct would make a lot more sense.
Yeah. Yeah, the issue is we pass something by address.
That was actually important.
That
was correct.
Yeah. If we pass something by address, you're actually giving it a pointer in memory. This is actually an interesting thing here because we have two separate devices playing the game here, right? We have a watch and we have a phone. And the watch is sending a message to the phone. Well, if the watch sent an address to this guy, This guy has no way of looking at stuff in the watch's memory. Okay, so an address doesn't make any sense. So it has to send something as an immutable copy. And because the way Swift works, objects are sent by address, structs are sent by value. It had to send it as a struct because sending an address would be useless. You know, the best case scenario is if the phone received an address and looked up in his memory at that address that there's something else there that he might be able to digest. Okay, so maybe it's the word blah over here and it's the word elephant over here, but they're not, they just happen to live in the same memory address but in two different towns.
That's how we get heartbleed bugs.
So, yeah, interesting. All right, so then the next thing we were going to test is whether or not it's faster to send the second message, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we'll just send it from the exact same, we'll send it from the exact same segue thing here. And we'll go ahead and pass it. Let's see. We'll pass it woot 11. Yeah, thank you. I need to test something here real quick because now that we're receiving this from the same place, what we probably want to do over here is instead of printing the value, let's print out.
Just concatenate all your text.
I guess, yeah, that's actually a good idea. You have some decent ideas sometimes. All right, so this will be self.thelabel.text. What I was going to have it do is I was going to have it just put the count. So the first one should be 2, the second one should be 1. All right, but with that in mind, I need to probably name the second guy blah as well. All right, so the first time through, it'll just add to, well, we have the word blah is currently in the label. So now we're going to append onto blah the value of blah, which will be 7. So this should say blah 7. And then in here, we'll call the second message we're going to send. He's also going to send a blah. So then it should be an 11. So blah 7, 11 is what the message we should get if it receives both of these. And one of two things are going to happen. It's either we're going to wait a second, then we're going to see blah 7, and then wait a little bit longer and see blah 7, 11. Or you might just see blah 7, 11 right away, which means that once the connection was established, it was able to send a bunch of messages quickly. So we'll see which of those it ends up being. Oh, it did both. Here we can, let's shorten this real quick. Let's see. We're actually going to do this. I'm going to shorten it a lot just so we can see stuff. We're going to start this off as nothing, so that label will have nothing in it. Then we're going to, when we print stuff in here, we're going to force the value out of it so it'll no longer be an optional. So we won't have all that extra fluff. Okay. So let's run this again. And then we'll be able to test it further to see once that connection is established whether it stays kind of fast. All right, so we should just see 711 now. Oh, hold on. Sorry.
Take it.
No, this guy's an optional as well. I don't think he's guaranteed to have a value. Okay, so there's our 7-Eleven, but now I'm going to go through the motions here. Select name for initiatives. Now we're back on this screen, so now I should be able to add a roll again, and we'll see if it pops up immediately.
Ooh.
So we should get a second 7-Eleven, but it's
There it is.
all right. That's interesting.
Yeah,
All right.
Has anything to do with the popping back to review control or anything, or do you think that'll always be like that?
In terms of speed,
Yeah.
I think it'll always be like that. But what we need to do is, and we can do this next class, is test it on an actual device to see if it's equally slow.
Garbage collector?
Yeah.
So you're essentially resetting WCSession every time. So if you had a static WCSession,
Possibly.
then would it?
Well,
stay-
actually, we're not resetting it every time because we only did the session. Wait. In view controller. No, we're only setting up the session once inside of our view
That's
controller.
the iPhone.
Yep, and then on this guy, we're only setting it up once.
Yeah, that's for-
I put it as a global.
Oh, okay.
So this guy right here. Yeah, I moved it up there. We're only setting it up. We're giving it its value initially,
Sure.
and then we're using it. All right. Well, we got him talking. We'll experiment more with it next time. So I will see everybody on Friday.